Hey everybody, Chris Beall, CEO of Connect and Sell here with a cold calling faster masterclass. So hold on to your hats. We're going to go fast. Pay attention. First, what is a cold call? A cold call is an unscheduled attempt by phone to get a first conversation. That is, if you call somebody and you end up in their voicemail, it's still a cold call. It's just not a cold conversation. So why do we cold call? In order to get a cold conversation, because the human voice can create instant trust in another human. Nothing else we do can do this except face-to-face, and most of our prospects are not sitting right next to us. Video calls can create trust too, but prospects don't take unscheduled video calls. And digital outreach like email or social might generate interest if you can rise above the noise, which is not easy, but interest is not trust. And in B2B, everything depends on trust, not interest. A buyer must trust you more than they trust themselves because you're the expert. So why listen to me, Chris Beall? I haven't written books on cold calling. Well, I run Connect and Sell. And Connect and Sell has executed more than 250 million B2B cold calls in the 10 years I've been here. Our own team has had more than 12 million of those cold calls done for them and have talked to about 70,000 VPs of sales per year. So we know a little bit because we've done a little bit, we've heard a little bit. All put together, that's 1.5 million rep years of cold calling. Let that sink in for a moment. It's more than 10,000 hours. And thanks, Malcolm Gladwell, because that's the threshold for being a master. Our flight school has also taught hundreds of reps who now execute like this. Here are some reps who in flight school in 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 42 seconds had done for them an average of 298.48 cold calls, from which they got 12.13 conversations and set 2 meetings, almost 1 meeting per hour, and that's while they're being trained. So what's the purpose of a cold call? To get a cold conversation. And what's the purpose of a cold conversation? To build trust first in the relationship, to start the relationship with trust, and first before your competitor has a chance to do the same thing. You also want to get a referral because cold conversations end in yes, no, not me, not now. So do something with the not me's, find out who. You want to create a follow-up, take care of all the not nows, and make sure you call people in the future. By the way, these are people who have proven they will answer the phone. Test your targeting. There are a lot of people who are going to say, I'm not interested. Here's why. If you believe their reason, go back and fix up your list and make your digital conversations. That's email, that's social, that's chat, that's everything else 14 times more effective. They're already efficient, but you need them to actually reply to you. And starting with a conversation will do that. So what's the mindset of a successful cold caller? Simple. The meeting itself has independent value for the prospect, no matter if you ever do business with them. So successful cold callers insist on the meeting. Then, once they get the verbal to take the meeting, whether on a specific day or at all, next, they move on. What can a top cold caller produce? Manually working hard at about 100 dials a day, 100 cold calls, they can get about 1 meeting per day. That's pretty spectacular. You get 1 meeting per 100 calls, but the best can do it. If you're fully accelerated, you're scripted by experts, you're trained, and you're coached in real time, you can get 1 meeting per hour, as we've already seen. And in fact, the best do better than that. Let's look at Cheryl Turner, Chief Development Officer for Connect and Sell's Flight School, an expert cold caller. Here's her last month. For cold calling time, calling C-suite and VP level folks at $100 million plus companies, 18 hours, 3 minutes, and 24 seconds, during which Connect and Sell made 3,255 cold calls for her, resulting in 114 cold conversations, 39 meetings, converting at a rate of 34.20% of conversations turning into meetings, averaging 2 minutes per conversation. She set, during this month, 2.16 meetings per calling hour. That's what can be done. Now, folks often ask me, how often should a prospect be cold called before giving up? The answer is until you know they don't exist. That's right. If they're worth talking to, keep trying to talk to them. Otherwise, you're leaving them to your competition. Is a cold call script necessary, or can you just wing it? Are you that good? Absolutely necessary. Because you're not that good. And here's why. Because you're always talking to a human being. Your voice speaks directly to their emotions. So you need to know what you're going to say, and it needs to be designed by somebody who knows what you need to say to move their emotions, a linguistic psychologist, for maximum impact on them, the prospect, not your comfort. A cold conversation needs to be in a script. Think of it like a race car. It's not comfortable. It just goes fast and wins races. How about pre-call research? Everybody says it's necessary. Never do it. 5 minutes of pre-call research generates 97% waste. Why? 95% of the time, you don't get to a decision maker. And the other 2 percentage points, that's 40% of your cold conversations, are effectively busy callbacks, and you don't have time to explore business with them. So that gives you 3% distraction because you're trying to figure out what to say based on your pre-call research instead of using your script. At 42 cold calls per day, pre-call research wastes more than 1,000 hours per rep every single year. Remember, you're selling the meeting as a learning opportunity for them, not an immediate solution to their business problem. And what is the prospect's problem right now? Simple, you. Their problem is they're trying to get off this ambush call with their self-image intact. You can solve that problem for them and solve it first, and they will trust you forever. So should you ask qualifying questions on a cold call? Never. Ambushed prospects say whatever they need to say to get off the call, and that is not their deepest business truth. Save the questions for the meeting. That's why it's called discovery. What's the optimum conversation path for a cold call? Well, they all start in the same place with fear. The prospect is afraid of you because you ambushed them and you're invisible. So you need to turn that fear into trust in 7 seconds. Here's how you do that. First, show them you see the world through their eyes. I know I'm an interruption. Second, offer a solution to the problem they have right now. That's you. They need to get off the phone. Can I have 27 seconds, tell you why I called? And that's offering a solution, because if they listen to you for 27 seconds, you're gone. Take that trust you just got and turn it into curiosity. Use the 27 seconds not to describe business value, but to give them a reason to take the meeting. Try something like this. I believe we've discovered a breakthrough that completely eliminates the waste and the frustration that keeps your best sales reps from being effective on the phone or even using the phone at all. And the reason I reached out to you today is to get 15 minutes on your calendar to share this breakthrough with you. Do you happen to have your calendar available? That will get curiosity. Put in your own words. It's not about calling for you. It's not about talking to people. It's about whatever it is your company does in order to help with economics, to help with emotions, and to help with where they're going. We call that strategy. Then take that curiosity and turn it into commitment, and do that in about 16 seconds of answering their reasons that they don't want to take the meeting. And eventually just send them the invitation and tell them you'll reschedule if you have to. Notice I didn't mention business value. Why? Because they're not ready to talk about it now. That is the subject for a discovery meeting. So what does it look like if you pull it all together? It looks like this. We already took a look at this. This is a team learning to cold call. These were not former cold callers, and they sat 96 meetings in 107 hours of work, almost 1 meeting per hour. That's what success looks like. How much does it cost to cold call effectively? Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing I said here requires any money except going fast. And if you want to go fast, well, that's not just effective cold calling, that's efficient cold calling. You want to learn how to maximize your cold calling results? Feel free to check out our flight school powered by Connect and Sell. We will teach you how in 4 easy lessons, each one 2 hours long, live fire, setting real meetings, making real money. We will teach you how to be the best cold caller in the world. If you have a team, this will transform everything about how they work. Just shoot an email over to flightschool@connectandsell.com or one to me at chris.beall@connectandsell.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. And I have a little podcast called Market Dominance Guys. If you are interested in how cold calling, what we call conversation first, can be used to dominate markets, go ahead and check it out. There's a bunch of episodes there that will teach you the details. Thanks for paying attention to this faster masterclass on cold calling. Again, I'm Chris Beall, CEO of Connect and Sell. Happy calling.